Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, there is a very big mistake that the government is doing, and I think I can connect it with our parents. Our parents were lied to by the governments. They started lying to the forefathers. They came and lied to the parents. And then they are trying to lie to us and also making their own ways on how they can lie to our kids. There is one thing that I can say to our parents. I think I said it in a short that one thing that we're going to do is that coming 2027, we know very well that there are a lot of people that are going to be convinced to vote for the current government. There's only one thing that is going to be done. The parents are going to be left behind. And I say that if they can go for vacation, it's okay. We can pay for them the vacations. So that the Gen Zs can be left so that they can elect the people that they know can lead them. Now, Professor here, and I would like us to talk about something concerning this issue of the CSS that were not nominated yesterday. Automatically, there are some of the CSS that are not going to occupy the offices. Somebody like Moses Kuria is not going to come back. Somebody like Kipchumba Murkomen automatically is not going to come back. Attorney General Muturi is not going to come back. And most of them, somebody like automatically the education of CS Machogi is also not going to come back. So people like Linturi, those are the people that I want us to talk about. So Professor, yes. These CSS that are not going to come back to the offices, what are they going to do? Because they were used to that lavish life that they drive in big cars, the motorcades, and then the escort, all that, the security. What is their life going to be? Somebody like Moses Kuria, Kipchumba Murkomen. They have money, they stole money. But what are they going to do next?
Well, I think they should go to hiding forever, and they should be forgotten. That's what they should do. But what should they do? I've told you very well. The fact that William Ruto named the cabinet and brought in 6 out of the ones he dismissed last time shows you that William Ruto do not have a lot of choice, because these people helped him campaign. They gave him money. They pushed for him to become president. They defended him when he needed. And I think he has no choice. The main question is that for those who are coming, why are they coming back? You know, I used to sit in a certain board. And the board is appointed for 3 years, renewable. So the first 3 years I served, I finished my term, then they renewed my term. I served for another 3 years. Then I asked them, when you want to renew my term for third time, why are you renewing it? Because I think that I've already given my ideas for 3 years. It's time to move on. I was in St. Francis Hospital board. I was chair of strategy and finance and investment. We did fantastic. We moved it from level 3 to level 6 now. So why am I staying there? Why don't someone now come and take it somewhere? But these CSS who are told that you have left 1 because of incompetence. 2, revenue collection was down. 3, you could not create employment. 4, you are corrupt. And lastly,
you're doing politics more than
more than execution. And look at the Gazette notice the president did the day, some 3 days after. It was clear with the reason why they were dismissed. So even the ones coming back, the question is, what are they going to do differently?
That they did not do.
They did not do. If something looks like a duck, cries like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. So if these are lame ducks, they are lame ducks. So those who have not been appointed, I'm sure Ruto must have given them a big favor of not bringing them back to shame.
Yeah, for shame, yeah.
Look at airport leaking under Murkomen. Look at Machogu releasing results which have not been verified.
And telling and changing the dates and times of opening at midnight.
At midnight. So the incompetence levels are great. I think they should go where they belong. Maybe they should at least learn how to run a business. People like Moses Kuria was busy telling people, if you think oil is expensive, drill your own well.
Drill your own well.
So I think this is the time he should go and drill his own well for oil and the rest. Why is he worried about government money? Why are you asking what should they do? For those of us who are not in government, what are we doing? don't we have what to do? So let them also go and see what Kenyans go through. Of course, they have a bit of some money and trappings of power. They can go to State House and the rest. But the story must be different. But what I'm trying to say is that a transition will take place where they might not even access those rights. And I'm sure what they need to go back is they need to go back and return this money they stole to Kenyans. I think that's honest. If the president said they stole money, one thing they need to go to court. The president has to prosecute them because the money which was stolen, we have DCI, we have ESCC. They should spend time now defending decisions they made because now they're not in office. So according to me, I don't have sympathy for any of them. I only have sympathy for those who have come back, who are not performing, and they have just been changed. You know, we've seen these things happening a lot. In corporate world, when there's corporate politics, when their boss sees you under fire, they put another department where you are safe, where no one will question you more. For example, the ministry for Miano, she's now in Attorney General's office. What does Attorney General do?
Nothing really. Just advising the president.
If
he doesn't take the advice.
If Justin Musuri was there and he said the president never sought, not that he didn't give, the president never sought his advice. Meaning he was doing literally nothing
in the office.
But the country was running. But he was taking money from taxpayers' money. So maybe Rebecca Miano has been put where it doesn't matter. Remember the cases we have taken to court against the government, which Attorney General come to defend, have been so many. So according to me, sorry, they should just go and answer to Kenyans. Also, they should go and spend time to make peace with the Lord, which also means make peace with people. If they reflect and found that there's money they stole from Kenyans, there's no need of taking them to court. They should just come and return the money. This is what the Bible says. They should go reflect. They should also go and have more time with their constituents, listen to them because now they have time. I'm sure now if you call them, they can pick their calls.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, so this is the time they can pick calls they never picked. They can go for burials they never went, funerals they never went to. They can visit relatives they never visited. They can spend time with the family members that have ignored for long, just chasing after money, power. So I'm sure they have a lot to do. And most importantly for me, I want them to go reflect. And from there, write up something. I'm a scholar. Write some memoirs. Tell us what happened in this government. Because you see, they said, Moses Kuria said that the cabinet was ineffective and dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that was what he said, exactly.
So this is the time for him now to tell us how ineffective and dysfunctional the government was, isn't it? And give recommendation.
What needs to be done?
What needs to be done to change it? Because also we want to gain from his knowledge. Let us not just hate these people.
Yeah. At least we should get something. Okay, I was here. This is the challenge that I was facing. And if the next CS that is coming to replace me should undertake this, and this so that the ministry can succeed.
Yeah, I can refer you to one very good scholar called St. Augustine. St. Augustine was asked, because St. Augustine is the most brilliant theologian in the Catholic Church. He wrote the book Summa Theologica, which means the summary of theology. Remember, in the Catholic Church, there's the arm of philosophy. The greatest philosopher ever is Aristotle. So the philosophy of the Catholic Church borrows from Aristotle's mindset. Then St. Augustine, being a good student of Aristotle, became the greatest theologian of all times. He wrote the book called Summa Theologica, which summarizes the theology of the Catholic Church. So somebody once asked St. Augustine, how, of course he wasn't St. Augustine by then, he was just Augustine of Hippo. He was asked, Augustine, how brilliant, where do you draw your brilliance from? And he said something which I think should be something to reflect for us all Kenyans and even you. He said that why he's brilliant is that he listens to everybody. Even if you tell him nonsense, he tries to understand the construction, how someone can construct, perceive, and convey nonsense. So even the things that they didn't do, we need someone to really reflect on them, that how did they get it wrong? If the cabinet was dysfunctional, how is it to run a cabinet which is dysfunctional? What was the sources, the causes of this dysfunctionality? What's the root cause of it? How can it be learned from? So we need to, I saw somebody wrote a very good documentary on Kibaki's cabinets. And they have analyzed each and everyone who was in Kibaki's cabinet, the ones before. And so now we need someone to do a documentary on Ruto'S first cabinet. And I think that Moses Kuria should take a big chapter on it. The guys like Murkomen should take a big chapter of it.
Like Aisha Juma.
Aisha Juma should take a big chapter of it and explain to us because we believe she was the most incompetent cabinet secretary in Ruto'S government, isn't it? How did it feel like sitting on the table
every day
with these people? I'm sure those are the things I can say about. But let me tell you what. From your question now, I don't want to blame these people. I told you that there's what we call cause of causes. Whatever comes to be must be caused by something. Who appointed this very incompetent cabinet and dysfunctional cabinet, and who fired them? It's William Ruto. So the buck stops with him. So I wanted just to give you 5 reasons why I think Ruto is not presidential. Firing cabinet is not the solution. For me, Ruto should find a way to exit the scene, but through a constitutional process, not just any other extra constitutional process, but through a constitutional process. We can give him ways. I already told you he needs to call for a snap election. Now ODM is calling for a national convention that leads to a transition government, which I don't agree, because it's a way of politicians reaping the benefit of the Gen Zs after they work so hard. Because both opposition and government has never been happy. They have not been very comfortable with the Gen Z. They say it, but when I listen to them on the back end, they are very disturbed about Gen Z. Because you see, Gen Z has disrupted the 2027 equation. No one even knows how it looks like.
No one knows how it looks
even
like.
Me, I don't know. We're only praying every day for God's inspiration to tell us where it's going. Maybe Gen Zs know, but sometimes they don't know. But I think really Gen Zs are not radicalized. They should be having a clue on what they want to do in 2027. But they are now a factor. And I can tell that a new power has come into the political scene in Kenya, and this global power is Gen Z. So why is William Ruto not presidential? The first thing, you have to know that President William Ruto is a leader without followers. You know, when you are a leader, the fact that a leader has got the leader and the led. So if a leader not having the led is a leader taking a walk on their own, like you are walking on the road, you are taking a walk on your garden, just walking, but no one is following you. Who is following William Ruto? If his cabinet, the day he fired them, they started insulting him. So who are the close confidants?
Maybe the wife and the kids.
Even Moses Kuria was saying, ukileta ugali tunaweka kitoweo. Sivyo? And some of them said, let us now go for election. Even Kindiki said, now it's time for us to go with the people. Kindiki was fired when he was presiding over a police that was killing Kenyans.
In the morning, I think. They had a meeting. They had the same meeting in the morning.
Yes, to protect William Ruto. After being fired, he tells them,
now we are with the people.
I'm with the people now.
With the people.
Can you imagine? So who was following him? William Ruto must only be followed maybe by his wife and children, and maybe a few people who are gaining money from it. A leader must be followed. Leadership is about followership. And the fact that you are being followed, you must know where you are taking people. So not being able to be a leader, who knows where you are taking people, where you are calling for national dialogue to be told what to do, isn't it? Naming a cabinet, then firing them, then firing a cabinet, then again renaming them in the cabinet at the same time, and you wonder, then if you are to bring them back, then why are you firing them? Why didn't he just fire the ones he didn't want and keep the 6 that he has just renamed back? So a leader must know where he's taking people. So one point I'm saying to say, Ruto is a leader who has no followers. And no followers because what is his leadership ideology? Second thing, a leader must be a coach. One quality of a leader is a coach. Ruto is a very poor coach. Have you ever seen, for example, I don't know whether, are you Arsenal fan or Manchester?
Manchester.
Okay. Your coach is who? Eric Tag.
Yeah.
Now, do you know why fans normally wait to see the lineup? They would know the intention of the manager, isn't it? And then they know the formation, isn't it? So a coach must be able to name the lineup that will win a match. If Manchester was playing against Arsenal, then you find Rashford on the bench, isn't it? Who else?
People like Maguire. You find Maguire in the first 11.
Yeah, so if you find that he has been given the third 11, then you find that Eric Tag has no intention to win Arsenal match. So which kind of 11 did Ruto give us? Ruto's 11
are the ones that he has fired. He
It's
just
like
fired.
the 9th 11. No, if you look at the quality of human resource in Kenya, the qualification we have in Kenya, we are having a CS of education who was a running mate to become a governor. Of a CS who has been dismissed for incompetence.
Who was vying to become a governor.
Yeah, so which means that the competent, he was not a running mate to Machogu because he was more qualified than Machogu. He was second to Machogu. Now, after firing Machogu, who is more qualified
than him,
he brings to us another person who was a running mate to Machogu. So, if you look at that cabinet bench and you look at the Kenyan CVs, we have people with decorated CVs. So Ruto has not been a good coach because he has left so many players in the bench and picked the first 11 of players who cannot score. Education, we need scores. Treasury, we need scores. Interior, we need scores. Trade, we need scores. So a coach must identify which player can win him a match. Manchester used to bring Ronaldo from Real Madrid in retirement to play. Arsenal could bring Thierry Henry. You must assign the players who will win a match. So being a coach who cannot identify the right players to bring them to play makes Ruto not look presidential. Look at Kibaki's cabinet. Who was there? They were very qualified. But even Kenyatta's cabinet. Kenyatta's cabinet was more qualified than Ruto's cabinet. Yet that
in fact, it was 10 times.
Yeah, but look, literacy levels in Kenya was lower than now. The literacy levels in Kenya is highly advanced now. Why don't you pick highly qualified people as a coach and bring them to help you score? Because you are in trouble. William Ruto is in trouble economically.
You need a solution.
You need a solution. Then you pick a team that cannot deliver this solution to you because you believe too much in yourself. So a good coach, a good leader must be a good coach and must know who needs to play for them. And Ruto's players shows that he's a joke. You know, let me tell you, you are sitting in a cabinet meeting. Rebecca Miano is there. Of course, she was a CEO of Kengen, isn't it? But what advice will she give you? Cabinet was saying, wow. As a president, I think I know why we're going after Michael. The third one is no economic vision, but propaganda. Because bottom up is a propaganda. It's not economic model. We would have known a presidential material by the economic vision. Kibaki's economic vision was very clear. Moi did a lot of education. You can say whatever you like, but Moi had a vision about education. Kenyatta was about building the foundation of a country. Harambee. You could see
the infrastructure and all that.
Infrastructure was there. Uhuru Kenyatta went big on infrastructure, but also Uhuru Kenyatta had a lot of economic issues to do infrastructure. Education also, Uhuru did something. But you could see Uhuru had a vision for the country.
At least all the department he touched.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was some change.
So Ruto has to forget about presidential campaign looking like UDA candidate. Saying Kenya Kwanza government. There is nothing like Kenya Kwanza government. We have a government of Kenya, GOK. Government cannot belong to a political party. Once you win election, you cross over from political party and become the leader of the nation. I heard Uhuru Kenyatta give a very good speech to President Shikedi when he was being inaugurated in DRC. Also, Tinodu, is it?
The Tinodu.
Yes, he gave him a very good speech. Now you are not a president for your party.
For your party, you are president of the nation.
You are not a president of those who voted for you. You're president for Kenya. Here they began by saying, oh, kuna shareholders, nini. Presidential, you are the symbol of unity of everyone. Whether you are in ODM, you are in Azimio, you are in whatever UDA, you are the president of the country. So we want a president who has got economic vision, at least a vision for the country. The fourth one, the president focuses more on power, money, and political power and money. He's not driven by transformation. He has to know that there's something Kenyatta Senior came, did, and left. Isn't it? Daniel Moi came and did something and left. Then Kibaki came and did something, left. Uhuru did something, left. What is it going to do?
The legacy.
Is it clear to you what Ruto could have done?
It is not clear.
If Ruto's presidency was to end today, what would you remember him for?
Tumetenga,
tumepanga, kesho kutwa, mwaka ujao, mwaka ya kuja, tumeamua, mtakuwa salama. Nothing. Zero.
He's going to leave us with the legacy of tumetenga.
Sasa, presidential. If I was to get a chance to lead this country, I would like a child to cry on the day I'm leaving. But here children are crying while you're in office. They are crying tears of pain, not joy. There's no sector that is breathing well. He has squeezed money from everybody. So we want a president who talks about transformation. Last, and this is very important. Ruto does not look presidential because he has low social capital. He only has high social capital because anybody following Ruto must be benefiting commercially, not socially. You know, social capital is whereby you saw leaders that people love. For example, Raila Odinga has a lot of social capital.
Yeah,
He's wasting in himself. He got it. He has it.
He got it a long time ago.
He got that one.
Yeah.
You know,
and no one, I don't think if anybody can take it away.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it can go, but no one can take. It can just go. Like now it is going.
Yeah.
It will go, but no one can take. No one will ever get what Raila has. If Raila was a president today, he won't spend time explaining too much. He will just spend time doing what needs to be done. Unfortunately, he does not have a community vision as well, because I heard about Azimio thing, I don't know, one fruit, one county, all those things. At the moment, he's not going to talk about them. Why didn't he tell William Ruto, let them share a manifesto before this meeting and agree, this was manifesto, this was yours?
Let us see.
Why don't we see that, first of all, you have to abandon the nonsense called bottom-up and take up the Azimio manifesto? Maybe that I could understand. Let them negotiate from policy, not negotiating from positions.
From position.
Now negotiating, which one do I take, which one do you leave, which one do I give to so and so. Why don't you discuss policy? I would discuss policy. Like, for example, if William Ruto was to call me to work with him, I would go with my book called Solomonic Economics and tell him, can you bring for me bottom-up economics book written by an author and a publisher? If not, you use my Solomonic Economics to run the country. So we want a leader who has social capital. With social capital, you don't need too much security. Can you imagine a leader where when you are entering church, there are GSU checking whether someone can hurt you inside the church? I don't know. Of course, we have to take presidential security seriously, but not too seriously.
Yeah.
Are you getting my point? Like for me, I had my supporters saying when I was in Kuria, they saw me running and celebrating and jumping. Where was my security? I said, but my security are these people. Let me explain to you something. You know where we are now is not very far from Kibera, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know there are some shops in Kibera where one shop, the stock is over 80 million shillings?
Yeah.
And they are not in concrete walls, isn't it?
Then Mabati.
Why do you think no one steals from them?
They secure themselves. They are their own securities.
Yes, why? Explain. No, I'm an anthropologist. I understand how community works. Do you know why? I grew up in Kibera, in Katwekera. Why we never stole from those kiosks is that they're the ones who keep us eating. You borrow from there. When there's no salt, they give you. No sugar, they give you. So I run this shop here. I'm a pharmacist there. My pharmacy buys mboga from this Mama Mboga, isn't it? I shine my shoes from that shoe shiner. I cannot see anybody tampering with his what? Shoe shining business, because sometimes I have no money.
Yeah.
They shine my shoe,
And
then I'll
pay
pay at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So if that guy disappears, who will shine my shoe? If the one who has unga and sells salt is their shop are broken and taken away,
where will you borrow?
Where will I borrow salt when I don't have salt? You get me?
I get it.
And sometimes when food is about to get bad, they say, Mama so and so, chukua hii unga mpike na ugali, mtanipatia nusu yake. And that is how we lived. So we cannot destroy our own. A president should have a social capital that security is just in case. But security cannot be the primary protection. It should be a secondary protection. The people should protect you. Boniface, I'm sure where you live, when you get lost, they can even carry you and take you home, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about the president? if the president was to get lost in your estate, what will happen? So I remember I finished with this anecdote. When I was doing my PhD in Spain, I used to sit down with very wise Spanish people. And they told me there's a day when Franco was a dictator in Spain, a very big dictator, just like William Ruto now. Everybody wanted him to go. They started saying, Franco must go, Franco must go. Then Franco became very hard. He beat people, he killed people. He did so many things, just like Ruto is killing people now. So one day Franco was flying over Catalonia, you know, the Spanish side and there's Catalonia side of Spain. So he was in a helicopter flying on top of Catalonia. Then he was carrying 100 euro note in his hand. Then he said, guys, if I would drop these 100 euros down there, those Catalans will be very, very happy, isn't it? Then his pilot told him, no, Mr. President. They'll be happy if you are the one who jumps down.
Instead of throwing the euro, you are the one who will jump down.
So the question is, between President Ruto throwing 1,000 shillings on top of Kisumu, Mombasa,
and him throwing himself.
Which one do we want to take?
We better take the money.
Okay, that's the end of the discussion. Thank you very much. God bless.